Economist and author Joel Waldfogel has some startling advice for all of you holiday shoppers. Don't bother. His new book is called Scroogenomics: Why You Shouldn't Buy Presents for the Holidays. So Joel, thank you for coming on the show. I have to ask you though, how does your family feel about this attitude of yours?
Well, they're not thrilled about it, but as I do argue in the book, it's okay to buy gifts for people when you know what they like, and your family tend to be people you know a lot about, so I still buy them gifts. They just don't buy gifts for me.
All right, well, in general then, what's the problem with holiday gifts? Why shouldn't people buy them?
Well, normally, when we spend money on ourselves, we'll only buy something if it's worth more than the price to us. So if we see a $50 sweater, we'll only buy it if it's worth at least $50 to us. With gift giving, if I'm trying to buy something for you, I'm at a real disadvantage. I don't know what you like, I don't know what you have, so if I spend $50 on you, it's very possible, and as my research shows, quite likely, that I'll buy something you'll value a lot less than $50. And so in that way, the spending just doesn't produce as much satisfaction.
So is it hopeless? Can no one buy me a gift that's worth more to me than the price?
I think people who know you well, people who are in frequent contact with you, tend to be pretty good. The real disasters occur when people who have an obligation to get you something but they don't see you very often. Those people tend to make choices that you wouldn't have made, and those are the folks who buy things that really miss the mark.
All right, so in your book you supply a helpful list of the sorts of people who are good at buying gifts, all the way down to the people who are not so good. So let's run through that list right now. At the very top are significant others, followed by siblings, friends, parents, aunts and uncles, and at the bottom, poor grandparents. So what should grandparents do?
Well, first of all, just to be fair to grandparents, they're not inherently bad gift givers. It's just that their recipients are people they're not seeing very often, so they don't know as much as about what they want. So I want to be clear, it's not their fault.
Okay. Right.
But what should they do? So one thing they can do, in principle, they could simply give cash. And that's kind of a tacky gift, although society tends to allow grandparents and aunts and uncles to give cash to their recipients. Another thing they can do that's related, though, is gift cards. Gift cards are really not very tacky. They become enormously popular, and they're a lot like cash in the sense that they allow the recipient to choose which item to buy.
So you're a fan of gift cards, but gift cards have some notorious problems. They expire. You can't spend the last $5 or $10 of them. What do you recommend about that?
Well, it's true. As mechanisms for transferring resources from givers to recipients, gift cards, frankly, aren't that much better than even sort of average lousy gifts, because only about 90% of them gets redeemed, 10% just sits there. Now, that other 10% isn't destroyed. It's not value destruction the way a sweater that no one ever wears is value destruction. It's money that gets transferred to the retailer. Now, retailers are people too. But that said, I think it's not what the givers had in mind. I think they wanted to transfer the ability to purchase stuff to their recipients. So it would be wonderful, I'm told it's about as likely as world peace, but it would be wonderful if retailers would issue gift cards, which by default went to charity after, say, 24 months.
So as an economist, you've been doing this for a while, and you know that you have not yet been able to arrest the spending on Christmas. What should people do, since they're going to be doing it anyway?
Well, first off, people should go ahead and give gifts to the people whose preferences they know well. They should go ahead. Children would be devastated not to get gifts, so I'm not crazy. I'm not advocating giving gifts to kids. But I think in those situations where people don't know what the recipients want, they should think about something different. So one of the solutions is gift cards. Another kind of solution, frankly, is gifts to charity. Now, one of the things we try to accomplish with gifts is to allow our recipients to engage in some luxury activity they can't normally afford. If you look at data on spending across households, one of the clearest luxuries in the data is charitable giving. That is, higher income households spend a higher share of their expenditure on charity than anybody else. And so that's just a textbook definition of a luxury. If I then were to give you a charity gift card that allowed you to then choose which charity gets the money, I'm allowing you to act like a rich guy. Furthermore, I'm allowing some really worthy recipient, let's suppose, get the stuff. So we all get to feel good, and something good comes of the expenditure. So that's another solution.
Well, dare I say it, it sounds very much in the Christmas spirit.
I wouldn't know.
Joel, thanks very much for being here.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching.